Todd Torre.
Co-interviewer. I don't want to be the interviewer.
No, no, it's all good. It's all good, mate. It's
but,
all good.
but
Todd, now you're going to see from the other side. Now you're
right.
going to see what it's like. New album. Hold on. Let me just grab it here. It's all good, mate.
But
Let me just grab it. Sorry, what do you want to say? Sorry, AK?
oh, I think it's awesome to be a part of it, and I'm honored to be here with these two guys. And under the show, I do have I've heard the record, and we're gonna get into it, but it's fucking awesome. I was just cranking
That's
it.
an endorsement. That's an endorsement right there.
I listened to it all the way twice through today. Took some mental notes. I think I wrote a few things down on a word pad, but just listening to it, just vibing off of it. So yeah, it's heavy, it's fast, it's heavy, it's aggressive, it's you know, action packed.
You actually did homework for this thing.
That
You did your homework, you said. You actually did your homework.
Yeah.
Flotsam and Jetsam. What is this? The June 4th on AFM Records, Blood in the Water. This is the band's 14th. Todd asked me, how many records do they have about? And I go, 9. And then I looked it up and I go, wait a sec, there's 14 albums these guys have had. What a history. Wow, wow, wow. Todd, whatever you just said, I double that. This album, I was talking to Michael like before all of this. And I go, Michael, how are you going to top, before I heard the promos, how are you going to top the last album? I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it till I heard it. And you actually did. You topped it. It's just, proud of you guys. I'm really proud of you guys. You guys did a great job. That's our review.
It was crazy. We weren't sure what the outcome was going to be when we started writing for it, and we had that looming over us. Are we going to be able to top the Chaos record? That was kind of a stress that we were having. And when it all started coming together, you listen to AK on this and this huge choruses, and I think I'm really proud of it. I think the rest of the guys are too. We definitely, if it's not better, it's definitely as good as Chaos for sure.
AK, you have any opening comments?
No, not really.
All right.
I mean,
and that's that. Wrap it up.
This album was, it was a lot of fun to do, but at the same time, we were picking apart every 2 seconds of every song. Is this going to be right? Is this right? Is this good enough? Shouldn't we put something here? Should we? It was just on and on and on about making sure that, every last bit of it was cool. And after a while, we were just like, you know what, just leave it. It's fine. It is what it is. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, I guess we'll stay home.
Yeah. Todd?
Well, that's one of the things is like, whenever you write a batch of songs and it goes through all of these refinements in this process to become the record. And then that record has been out and then it's time to go to the next one. That's always the mindset is, well, we need to at least equal this or exceed it, and you can't always catch lightning in a bottle. And you say, we're happy with this. This is what we came up with at this time in our life. And you're always going to want to do something better, but that's such a subjective thing. And you just say, you know what, there's going to be another record and we're just going to keep writing music and putting things out. So I think it's like, it gets to the point where you say, hey, if people dig it, that's awesome. We wrote this for us in the hopes that people will like it, but this is what we felt as artists. And a band that's been around as long as this band has, I mean, they're always going to get that support and people are always going to give that record a try. Even if let's say some people don't like something because you can't please everyone, they're still going to be curious about the next one. So, I mean, hats off to you guys for being around as long as you have I mean, I was watching some really old footage from '85. I was 11, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, this is so cool because you were so young, and like you're wearing like the spandex, and the whole. It's like you're finding your way, and like you can hear this youthfulness in the voice. You can hear this. They're coming into their own, and sometimes people are like better when they're like in their 20s because it's like, your fucking balls haven't dropped and you can sing Soar to the Moon. And, you think these guys have just gotten more seasoned and better and better. And it's like, as a vocalist, I listen to what you're doing and I'm just like, God damn, I would hate to have to sing this guy's songs, because it's just so, but one of the things I love, just touching on the vocal really quick, is there's a lot of singers, but there's not a lot of singers, in my opinion, that really deliver with passion. I mean, you hear a lot of screamo stuff and it's like one emotion. It's like, I'm angry, right? But that's it. You still have some of those little crying inflections starting out a phrase, but every word you're caring about the delivery of every word. And you just don't hear singers doing that anymore. I just can't stress it enough. When you hear a word that's like rage or hate or fight or cut, it better goddamn well sound like it. And when you deliver those vocals, you can hear that in that delivery, and you're selling it. And to me, as a vocalist, that's so important because you just don't hear that kind of passion in the delivery of a lot of singers anymore. It's just, they're singing the notes, but it's not believable to me that they're really invested in the lyrics.
I think, Todd, you've just sold 100 pre-order albums for the band just right at that moment.
But it's true.
You just sold 100 albums right there. There's like 100 clicks happening.
No, it's true.
And everything you're saying, spot on. But there's more to it than that, right?
Of course. I'm just touching on.
Yeah. That's one out of like so many, right? Blood in the Water. Like, we'll just take apart a few stuff, right? And Todd, throw your ideas in. And guys, Michael, tell me about Blood in the Water. Describe it for the people who haven't heard it, music wise.
Oh, I just heard it on satellite radio today for the first time on the radio. So I got to hear it in like its context, where it's going to reside, I hope, for a while. And to hear it up against, I think they played a Gojira song right before it, and then they played ours. And the beginning of it, the huge intro, I think it starts it off, with a bang. And the next three songs on the record are like that. It's ferocious. And I got to agree with Todd. AK, you can mute this.
I love Todd's passion. I love Todd's passion. He just like nails every point.
AK, his vocal performances in the song. Every song on this record is fucking amazing. The vocals on it, and I was just telling someone else a little while ago that I never listen to any of our records when we're done. Like we finished.
I don't either.
But I listened to this one like 15 times maybe. I'm like, man, I'm proud. I'm super proud of it. And I think the rest of it, I'm proud of my band. Like they delivered, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
AK, what's the Blood in the Water, like selling death? All right, in a few minutes, in a few seconds, just tell us about the lyrical content.
Blood in the Water is basically, I get 55 calls a day on my phone of, we need to re-up your auto warranty, or we want to sell you health insurance, or you show any weakness in any way, shape, or form. And in this case, it's just answering my phone. The sharks come swimming and they circle. And, it goes with everything, you know, the government. You show them any weakness at all, and they're gonna smell the blood in the water, and they're gonna come after you. You know, it's everything. You got to really be careful about letting people know anything about you, really, because the sharks are gonna circle. They're smelling the blood in the water, and they're coming right after you.
Yeah, it's like those vulnerabilities that you're not even volunteering for. Like I get constant calls about your car in your warranty, my car warranty. And I'm like, God damn, right? So all of these little things, right, are just chum. It's chum in the water, and they're coming to get you, and they're gonna keep biting, and they're gonna keep doing this until they get you. And so, yeah, it's interesting that that's what it's about. But yeah, they're sharks, man. Everybody wants a piece of you.
Yep. You can't show them any blood because they're after you.
Brace for Impact, which I guess it was one of the titles that you guys were working with, and maybe we should call the album Brace for Impact. Michael, explain to the people. Okay, the first two songs were singles. People pretty much understand the context of the thrash, but Brace for Impact, I guess it's still a thrashy song. I mean,
Yeah,
explain it, you know.
yeah, that was the original title track for that.
I love that. I love it. Brace for Impact to me is a great friggin'.
Yeah. It was a great title for you know, for the follow up to Chaos. You know, it just sounded like they think hand in hand. You know, but Blood in the Water seemed to be the opening song that we all really agreed on. That was just in your face. But Brace for Impact, you know, it's going to be the third single. That's going to drop, I think, right before the record comes out, and we'll see what people say about it. A lot of people that have heard it right now say, you know, it kind of goes back a little old school Flotsam. You know, goes back to the No Place.
When I hear that song, it's to what Todd said. It's the inflections. You know, it's just the anger. It's like you're bracing for impact when you hear it. AK, what does Brace for Impact mean to you in your lyrical approach?
You know, Brace for Impact is basically just, you're about to listen to the new Flotsam record. Hang on to something. That's Brace for Impact for me.
All right.
The songs that I love, what is it, Walls?
Yeah.
The Walls, yeah.
I love the groove on that and the vocal melodies. You know, I like to do a high vocal and a lower vocal, whether they're octaves apart or like a weird harmony. But I like how in the verses you've got or just the vocal melodies. You do some blending, some really nice blending on lead vocal lines, not just like backing vocals for a chorus, let's say, but you kind of blend these higher ones and lower vocals, like in Too Many Lives. You've got these harmonies during the verse parts where there's a high and a low together. I think that adds a nice texture. One of the things I wanted to ask you guys was about guitar tunings on the record.
The tunings are, I like A440. You know, that the guitar was built for A440. You start going below that, you can go a whole step below, and it still sounds okay. But you know, for me, I play the guitar so hard. If I tune down any more than that, I'll need like the high wire tension lines in order, because the string is so floppy. It's you know. But yeah, mostly A440.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting, right? Is, as you know, everybody nowadays is tuning so low, you're not hearing tone in the guitar. It's just this. It's all low. It's like you're kind of in like bass frequency, not quite, but you're competing against these lower frequencies, and everybody thinks that tuning so low is so heavy. While there is a heaviness by default to that sound, I think you lack guitar tone. And it's so great to hear heaviness like this record that isn't dropped to, okay, maybe you tune, a lot of our tunings in my own personal stuff is I'll tune the low E to D and then tune everything off the D. So it's not E drop D. It's either E flat, or I'll tune the whole guitar to D. But the tunings of this record are so palatable that the guitar tones are cutting through. Everything sits in its right place, right? The vocals are where they need to be, tonally and frequency wise. Then your guitars sit here, and then the bass has its space. So I like the fact that you're not tuning low. This is a perfect testament that like old school metal was heavy as fuck in standard tuning.
That's a good point.
Okay, you just proved.
Well, Todd, I think we should also tell everybody the guitars on this album. It's probably your best production. I mean, hands down. Like, this is I listened to your first album and I go, it's great, I love it, but holy shit, I'm like suckered into now because it's a friggin' wall of sound. The guitar. Okay.
But it sounds organic, Jimmy. It doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like, no, but and I mean it in a good way. I don't mean it in a bad way. The Walls. Tell us about the lyrics on The Walls, AK.
Yeah, that song is basically an anti-suicide song. It pretty much says, no matter what you're going through, no matter how horrible an ending you think everything is, there's probably something else you're here for. So, don't go anywhere, is basically what the song's saying.
All right. I always like your lyrics. You always come up with
great
cool
lyrics.
Stuff. Yeah. And is this a nod to Iron Maiden? I hear the guitar dual harmonies there, Mike.
Oh, that's Steve's his Iron Maiden.
Steve's Iron Maiden thingy, yeah.
Yep, he's addicted to Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Also on the guitars, there's a lot of arpeggios, so you can hear like more of that technical playing. But then you do have some, again, not to say Maiden, but there are those more simplified melodic leads that are singable, right? You can totally sing these parts, but then you do hear, sweet picking, you hear arpeggios happening.
Yeah, so it's all about the build of it, like you start the solo off and you do some slow notes, and then by the end of the solo, that's when you get ferocious and you rip your face off,
Yeah.
You just build the tension up. Yeah.
All right, building the tension up. Cry for the Dead. For those of you who haven't heard this, and of course most of you haven't heard, this is the big song in the album, right? It's like smack in the middle. It's like a thrash ballad, right? Is that a thrash ballad? Is that what it's kind of like a there's chord changes there, Todd. There's chord changes. There's all kinds of stuff going on there. So Mike, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, that song starts out as a ballad, and then boom.
Mike, you want to talk about the intricacies of the chord changes or on that song?
Ken came to me and he was like, dude, you got to write something, because we had all these fast songs for the record, right? And he's like, you got to write something that sounds like it's from the No Place for Disgrace era, and try to do it like a ballad again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shoot, I don't know if I got it in me, whatever. But I tried it. I didn't think it sounded anything like that. But all the interviews that we've done, they all say, man, you went back to the No Place on this song. It sounds like it belongs on that record, as far as like the song structure and the chord changes and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess, is it a ballad? I don't know.
It's a thrash ballad. It's a new thing. Okay. It's a thrash ballad.
Yeah.
AK, what are you talking about in Cry for the Dead? I hear a lot of sinister stuff there. I don't know what's going on. I don't have the lyric sheet, so I'm asking you.
It's well,
is that the pandemic we're talking about here? What are we talking about?
It's not necessarily about the pandemic, but it's about the result of it. People losing loved ones and not being able to say goodbye. And so it wasn't, I didn't sit down and go, I'm going to write something about the pandemic, but it was in the middle of the beginning of the pandemic, and there was a lot of scary stuff going on. So I'm sure that the mood came straight from the pandemic, even though that's not exactly what it's about. But yeah, it's basically about losing loved ones and being able to deal with that.
Yeah, it might be the best track on the album. Yeah, definitely.
I'd say it's a semi ballad.
Yeah. Man, I love the
And
chord
but
changes on
that one also has, you know, the record definitely has many fast songs, but then you have some parts that are like very groove. You know, there's a lot of dig dig dig. There's a lot of gallopy, dig 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 dig, that kind of a vibe. Um, you know, like the nice palm muted, like it's definitely thrashy, but then again, you have these vocal melodies on top of very aggressive music that don't put it into like that thrash box. It's just there's a lot of melody in there too. Um, and then your drummer, a lot of double bass on the record.
Oh my God, jeez,
You know,
it's insane.
I have a question. I mean it's pertains to the record, but and it's a question we all get asked, which kind of annoys me sometimes. But on this side of it, I am curious. How many people live in close proximity to you guys? Or how far apart are you guys scattered?
Like band wise, you mean? You mean band
Yeah,
wise?
band wise.
You know, Bill lives, where's he live? In Jersey or upstate New York? And the rest of us live in the Phoenix Valley here.
So were there any in-person get-togethers during any initial songwriting phases? Because for years we've always done the file thing, but on the new Queensryche stuff we're working on, the guys actually flew in from Seattle and we actually like were in person, old school, like you did it in the old days as a band. And like
I know where you're getting at, Todd.
yeah,
I
I'm
know where you're
curious
getting
if
at.
there was any of that.
You know, that's a great question because I feel like in doing so, sending files back and forth, you lose that energy that you get when you're all in a rehearsal room, and there's something to be said for it when you do recordings like that too. You subconsciously can hear it. Can I say that? No, subconsciously, you can hear that. You don't even know it, you know, but the aggressiveness and the anger is there.
So are you two the main songwriters for all intents and purposes? Are you two primarily like the main writers? Nothing against the others, but
no, it gets spawned. Each song gets spawned from either Steve or I most of the time, and that's it just builds on that, and then we send it over to AK, and then we start sending stuff back and forth. And AK, if he doesn't like something, he'll tell me my stuff sounds like shit, so it goes in the recycle bin. and
File
then,
delete.
Sometimes I tell him that just to mess with him too. So
I'll be working on a song for like 2 weeks, and then he's like, "It's crap." I can't do it in my Serbian voice.
No. Should we switch to Serbian interview or what? No. Okay. The Wicked Hour. For those of you who haven't heard it, which is probably the majority of the people, I would say this is the Queensryche song of the album. Am I right here, Michael? Is this a Queensryche-ish type of song?
Yeah, I agree with that.
See, Todd? See what's going on there? You see the influences there?
hey,
You see that? You see what's happening?
I think you know what when I first this is for everybody that's watching that has no idea.
Exactly. And I mean, that's how we're positioning it, right? If
Right,
people
of course.
don't know what they
But
haven't heard it.
I heard the first 4 songs and I was like, wow, this is pretty relentless. This is like, you know, this is in your face, and it's like it kept my attention. Then I had a bunch of stuff to do later in the day, and then I came back and I continued through the songs, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to listen all the way through, and I did that 2 more times. I listened all the way through from the beginning, and it really is. I mean, there's some mid-tempo stuff, but overall, it's a very high energy album. It's not a sleeper. I mean, this thing is it's no fucking around. I mean, you got to be on your game to play this stuff, to have recorded this stuff. People are going to be blown away when they hear the whole thing. And especially like, I mean, you guys have your work cut out to play this live, because this is not.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I'm saying
good luck with that.
I'm saying this isn't simple, This isn't
is
simple stuff. This is
That's
technical.
right.
It's technical, but I think that I think everyone's gonna love this, and they're in for a surprise for sure.
I was exhausted after I listened to this album. It was like so high and intense. I told Michael, this is the best thing you guys ever done. All right, AK, The Wicked Hour. Give us your thoughts on the lyrical ideas behind that.
Oh, that's a good one. That started off as so many different directions, and it ended up in so many different opposite directions. At some points, I'm not really even sure what that song's about anymore. But it's basically, you go through life, and once in a while, you run into that evil that you just can't get away from. And that's the wicked hour. That's when you really got to knuckle down and decide what kind of person you are.
Yeah, Michael, you want to add to that?
No, that was pretty well
That
said.
was pretty good. The drumming was like intense. The drumming was fucking intense on that.
I'll add to that. Yeah,
it's like, that might be his best drumming. I'm not a drummer. Todd is. I mean, he could probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of complex drumming on here. I mean, the fills are, they're pretty intense, and there's a lot of footwork. If you like double bass and like metal and stuff like that with a lot of double bass, I think there's a lot of double bass on the record. But there's also parts where, it's not there, but there's definitely a lot of double bass and, a lot of intricate drum fills. Yeah,
this is like super technical. I mean, wow, I was just blown away. Too Many Lives. I don't know what you said here, AK. I mean, 151 people die every day. You were losing me on the math there. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I was reading this thing on Google, and it said 151,000 people die every day, and 350,000 people are born every day. So
globally.
Yeah. So if we don't, if we don't stop fucking, we're going to overcrowd ourselves to death,
I have the key, my trigger and me pull the weeds for the flower and the trees.
That's kind of a tongue-in-cheek about, I have some redneck friends who are just like, oh, just kill all the stupid people and we'll be fine. And it's like, no, you can't do that. Everybody has the right to live and enjoy life, And so that's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing about people who think that way of just, hey, get rid of them, It's
I live in Florida. There's a lot of dumb motherfuckers here.
Michael, Too Many Lives. For you, did you come up with it? Did Steve come up with it? Where did it come from?
Yeah, that was one of my riffs that I came up with, and I actually didn't think AK was going to run with it because it's got these. First, it's a nightmare for a singer.
I love that song.
It's got all the diminished chords and those crazy like dissonance, and it's got to be a nightmare to sing over. But again, I'm proud of what AK did on it. He absolutely knocks it out of the park.
All right.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites on here so far.
I kind of like Gray Dragon, and I mean, I think the vocal, maybe it was before the chorus, when you're doing a little bit of the death growls there. Oh, I'm not sure if it's you, AK, or if it's somebody else in the band doing them.
No, it's all me.
All right, and I'm gonna say this: I'm not a vocalist like Todd and yourself, but I don't like death growls in general, but the way you kind of integrated it in there, it was just enough to make it really a cool melody. You want to tell us about Dragon and the lyrics behind it?
The weird thing about that song and a couple others is when I get stuck on words, I just come up with a melody and sing notes and say, well, I don't need words there. Screw it, And that's one of those that just happened to work out for me that way. That's my Rob Halford song. I mean, the Too Many Lives is my Rob Halford song. I get to sound like Rob Halford at the beginning of that one. I'm really excited about that. Gray Dragon it started off about a dragon, a guy walking through the desert, and he gets accosted by this dragon flying over his head. And by the time me and Ken got done recording the vocals and changing some lyrics and all that, it ended up being about a military aircraft called the Gray Dragon.
Oh, and I know there's a lot of your buddy there, Snake Eyes. Is it Snake Eyes?
Yeah.
Snake Eyes, your buddy. What's this? Scott.
Scott.
Right? Scott's a huge fan, huge follower.
He was just texting me.
Scott's a good dude, man. Gray Dragon, Mike, describe it for those people who haven't heard it. It's tough. I know it all.
I don't know. You know, it's just another killer track. It's not a filler track, and it keeps the momentum going on the record. And I think it's put in a place where it makes the album flow really well. I know we moved a lot of the songs around, so people who listen to it from front to back would keep their attention. So I just think that's a well-placed song. And again, the killer choruses.
Yeah, I think the song, the arrangement, the track listing, people always front load like what they think is going to have the most appeal. Every band does it. You want to have their attention right out of the gate for the first 3 songs for sure. Then you get into like the Cry for the Dead. That's your kind of get a little breather for a moment on that intro. Then it gets heavy again. Then it gets a little spacious on verse 2 again. But as you go through the record, it doesn't like kind of fizzle out. It's like, boom, like I say, I think it's relentless. That record as a solid playlist is like, you could put it on shuffle and not be,
that's a good way to say it. Yeah.
And not be disappointed in that order. And I think that's when, it's really, although you put a lot of effort into the sequencing and the order, but at the end of the day, a good song is a good song. And I did that with mine. I remember putting it on shuffle and I was like, you know what? There's not a bad song order. I can mix these, shuffle them 100 ways and deal. And I love my record no matter how I fucking play it. And I think this record as well, all those songs are so solid. You can put it on shuffle and it doesn't devalue the playlist. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. That's weird that you say that, because my big fear is at a party somewhere and our record's on in the background and 4 or 5 songs go by and somebody goes, is this the same song we were just listening to? That is one of my biggest fears. I want it really obvious when there's a different song on.
Right. Yeah.
Mike, I'm looking at some texts here. I'm ignoring everybody. First of all, Frank Potvin, who we all know, says hi to both you guys in Toronto.
I love Frank.
And 2120 Rock says, Gilbert, who are your influences?
My influences?
Yeah.
Ace Frehley. That's the one that started it all for me. Like I wanted to be in Kiss when and back in what night? This is gonna date me way back. I'm not gonna even say. And the same thing with like Angus Young. It's like, man, this guy is awesome. But those are probably my 2 biggest influences as when I was starting out. But now it's everything that I hear, I'm influenced by. And
right.
Steve will tell you that I steal a lot of shit from other players, and but that's how you learn and how you evolve. And yeah, I'm definitely guilty of thievery. There's no doubt about that.
You just got to flip it around so nobody knows. Reaggression. Is that reaggression? Was that what it was right there? Yeah. Reaggression. Another thrasher, but a nice little midsection, and it kind of does what you just said before, Michael. It sort of like builds up, and it just tears everyone to pieces.
That's one of my favorite tracks on the record, and the reason why is the breakdown in the middle. We have a new bass player, Bill Bodley, and I listen to that song and I just get the chills at what he's playing right there because it fits so perfectly with the breakdown. It's just a really cool part. He did a great job on the whole record, but that song right there was pretty badass.
And my next question, you know what it is, AK? What's reaggression to you?
You know, when you're really angry, you're almost seeing blood and you're shaking, and then you get angrier. That's reaggression.
You know, it's funny, Jimmy, hearing you ask them, you know, what is that song about? What is that song about? And while, like, I totally respect the question and understand it, in the artist's defense, there's always a part of you that doesn't want to answer that question.
Well, you should. I get it.
No,
of course I get it.
Right.
But,
No.
But you know what? You know what I find? I find when the listener understands a little more about the background of the song.
No, I understand. Yeah,
They tend to pay attention a lot more and they enjoy it a lot more.
Right. No, I'm not dissing that you asked.
You are, but it's okay.
No, I'm not.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm a big boy.
But I'm a big boy. No, but what I'm saying is, look, this golf.
I get it. You want to keep it a little vague. I get it.
Golf from Gorgoroth once said, "Music should be experienced, not explained." But yeah, you wanna talk like, hey, what's this song about? What does it mean? Blah blah blah. I totally get it. And like, there's a part of you as an artist that's conflicted. It's like, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna tell a story, and so I am kind of laying it out for you. At the same time, it's like, I don't want to explain why I said what I said. Like, if you want to take it literally.
So you're like their defense attorney here.
You're
you're like their defense attorney.
You want people to listen to it and come up with their own idea.
Absolutely. But if you could get a little taste of what it's about,
Sure.
You know, it makes it that much more enjoyable. Because keep in mind, there are listeners who listen only to the drums. There are listeners who listen to the melody. And there's a lot of people who listen to the lyrics. And they want to have a little glimpse into that world. Because, AK, you're a great lyricist. So
I think people that listen to Flotsam, Jimmy, are paying attention to the lyrics. It's a demographic that isn't, it's not like hip hop where it's like.
Well, now I feel terrible. Like I feel like I don't want to ask any more questions.
No. Listen, Jimmy. No, but we would all agree in hip hop, it's like this, you know, maybe there's something that's like, you know, and it's a groove that people just want to dance to or vibe to. They don't give a shit about the lyrics.
Have you guys ever had an interview like this where the two hosts are debating?
No. No, but what I'm saying is that this demographic that listens to this kind of music, these are intellectuals. These are people that read. These are people that still come from that era that want to open the gatefold and read the liner notes of where it was recorded. What kind of gear do you use? Read Eric's lyrics and try to decipher what is this guy's mind?
Yes.
What's he saying?
Absolutely.
So I love that you asked the question.
Thank you.
In your defense, I love that you asked the question about what is this about, because you're curious. But there's always that little defensive protection as the lyricist that you kind of don't want to answer some of those.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
So my answer from now on about what's the song about,
I plead the fifth.
You.
You're gonna throw. I'll mail you some business cards.
Well, what do you think it's about?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think it's about? Now, let me guess. 7 seconds till the end of the world, which is the last track. It's about 7 seconds till the end of the world.
That's a great song.
Yeah, the end of the record is the end of the world. There's nothing left after that.
There's nothing left after that.
Start the record over again.
I would have liked the album to be called 7 seconds till the end of the world. I really like that phrase.
I'm unplugging from Ethernet, so if I go away, hang
okay. It's all good. So, I guess we're done. I can't ask any more questions.
Here we go. Jimmy, am I unfrozen?
First of all, me and Todd are friends. Just we can toss it around like that. It's all good. It's all good. We're friends. We're friends.
We
So,
are
Mike-
friends.
I do have to say that your new solo record is out of this world, man. I really love it a lot. I've listened to it a few times now.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Maybe we can, and I talked to you on the phone the other day, and we were talking about some live shows, etc. And when things open back up, what are you guys going to be doing? Yada, yada. And Jimmy, I said to him, man, it would be great. Maybe I could play my own shows too, but I would love to jump on some shows with Flotsam as an opener for them, or, whatever. I mean, just to get in front of that kind of an audience that's, heavier and more thrashy and that kind of thing, to do some of my own solo stuff. But I'm really,
that'd be cool, man. Flotsam. But you guys are going to be touring with Accept. Michael, how'd you pull that off?
I don't know. Our old bass player actually was working with the Hoffmans, and
Yes.
ended up getting us signed on Continental for an agency. And then it seemed like once we got on Continental, boom, they hit us with the Accept tour.
That's pretty good, man. That's a nice package. I remember when you guys came to Montreal with Hammerfall. That was a real power metal and thrash. It was two different genres, but two great bands, and there was two different audiences there. And I think you'll get the same thing with Accept. I think that's a nice little package there.
We gained a lot of new fans on that Hammerfall tour. There's a lot of power metal fans that had never heard us before, and they came to the show and they're going, "Whoa, what's this?" And we sold a lot of discs and merch to those people. So we gained a lot of fans by cross-pollinating metal genre.
That's a way to put it. Yeah, I like that.
are there any other questions on here?
Whoa,
chat. Let's see.
Sure, we could talk. Oh, in the chat, yeah. Okay, like what? So what's story with this tour now? Like, what's going on here? Are we revving
People
up
are
for another
asking if
tour?
you'll be touring South America. People are asking.
Sure, guys.
We
It's a
have some more
disaster
dates
there,
that
right?
we're working on for like just the Southwest. Get all of us getting together and kind of like dusting the rust off, and trying to get the machine working again. It's been a while since we played live, so we're gonna have to build up a little to it, and that's about it for right now, other than the Accept tour and then the festivals in Europe afterwards. There is something coming down the pipe other than that
What's
I
going
can't
on?
talk about. Yeah, I got to throw that out there, but it's a good one and people are gonna like it a lot.
Okay. AK, are you looking forward to going back on the road?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I miss the road and touring and playing so much, it hurts. But at the same time, I have not even sang Happy Birthday in over a year. So I'm scared to death to get out there and start doing it again.
After they hear this album, all eyes will be on you. How is he gonna? You gotta own up to what you just sang. I think Todd was telling me about that. I go, you got to pull this off now live. This is like, yeah. Start warming up.
Fourth, fifth show into a tour, I'm pretty awake by then, But it's always this first couple of shows that I'm really scared about.
Okay, all right, Michael.
I'm not scared.
You're not scared of nothing.
What about the artwork for the record? Can you talk about that?
We had, like I said, we were going to call it Brace for Impact, and we sent the record and that song to Andy from Very Metal Art, does most of our graphic design stuff, and he came back with this crazy Flotzilla just barely coming out of the water thing. Yeah. And we already had the song Blood in the Water, and we were like, that fits the cover so well that we might as well just change the title and call it that. And it was going to be the first song on the record anyway, so it kind of worked out. Andy Pinkerton does an amazing job with album artwork and graphic design. He does all of our lyric video stuff.
Oh, cool.
And we don't even really check what he's doing anymore. The guy is so good. We just give him stuff, give him a couple ideas, and let him run with it. And it's always perfect, you know. So we got pretty lucky there.
All right.
Yeah, that's great when you can have that kind of a rapport and that trust with the artist to say, here's the rough concept, you do you, and you'll be surprised, right? And then you make those refinements and those tweaks. But instead of micromanaging every single facet, you're just like, here's a concept. Let's see what you... Now, do you ever give an artist pieces of music so they can get the vibe of what that needs to be? Have you ever done that?
Oh yeah, definitely. We give him music ahead of time almost every time.
Yeah.
You know, not only that, but he's a huge Flotsam fan. So everything he does is labor of love for him, you know, even though he's charging us. It's it's really a labor of love.
So you got to pay him to listen to your album, basically.
Yeah. Which he would do anyway if we weren't paying him. So I don't get it, but what the hell?
Do you find your fan base has been growing a lot more than you would have expected in the past few years?
We've worked hard at that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, bands seem to, you know, become static at one point, but you guys just seems to be growing and growing and growing. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong? I think I'm right, Michael.
I think we're on a upward trajectory for sure, and we're gaining new fans. I hear that a lot as well. Like AK said, "Oh, I've never heard you guys before." Well, they probably don't sound like that. They probably sound more like, "Hey, I've never heard you guys before." But yeah, and then it's just like talk to people.
You know, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we like shut down?
I want to talk about when Todd's going to put us on a Queensryche tour. That
would be insane. Look at that.
Hey, that would be awesome.
That would be insane.
That would be awesome. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. I will, I'm going to
send the video link to,
yeah, I'll be speaking with management here in the next few days anyway. And so, and I'm talking with the guys, you know, constantly because we're writing. I will definitely bring that up and say, hey, maybe the next ground tour, you know, we can put something together with you guys. That would be a shitload of fun. And, you know, we're so different really that each band stands on its own in its own special way, but would still be a very cohesive package. In my opinion, I think it would be a lot of fun to hang with you guys for 4 to 6 weeks or whatever. And yeah, I would love to do something like that. So
I think cross-pollination is the word. You know, there's probably a lot of Flotsam fans who aren't Queensryche fans yet, and vice versa, right?
I was just listening. I was listening. One of my all-time favorite songs, going, you know, many years back was "Secret Square."
Yeah,
I mean that is one of my all-time favorites. And I sing it all the time. Well, I try, but, you know, you have such a, you know, again, it's a testament to the way this band writes music, where you have these very interesting musical, it's not like copy paste. It's not 101. There's a lot of different stuff happening, but you have this lower register, which a lot of like metal singers, you know, everybody's like impressed with the high stuff, but you have this warmth and this resonance in your lower register that is, I very much appreciate as a fan of your voice and everything. That's just one of my all-time favorites. And then you go into that, as a last taste of her slips away, you know, and it's just like soars up there just to show you got it. And, yeah, that's one of my favorite songs that you guys have done. So
there's a lot of endorsements happening here today.
Dude,
a lot of endorsements. Look at that.
you know that song's about taking acid, right?
No, I didn't.
That's the secret square, a little acid trip.
Oh, no kidding.
It's supposed to be an audio acid trip, the whole song. So
An endless playground intensity. Yeah. Okay. Now it makes sense. As the what is that? What do you say? He says, during the slow now will break. Yeah, where you say the last taste of her slips away.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
See, now that's
all of that's about the acid trip.
okay. I'm glad you told me that. So you guys do have, let me ask you this. Do you have any shows on the books for the rest of this year? What do you have on the calendar? Anything, or not till next year?
Nothing till next year.
Nothing till next year.
We're
So
trying to, we're trying though. We're trying to put something on the books for maybe.
what
this
about
summer.
what about official videos to support the record?
Those
I mean,
the next
I've
one's
seen-
coming out. The next one's coming out.
You've got
Yeah.
another one coming out soon.
Brace for Impact will be the second one. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Excellent.
So,
Our third one.
Yeah.
that's it. So June 4th, AFM Records, brace for impact, because there's only 7 seconds till the end of the world. Flotsam and Jetsam.
It's a
There's
killer record,
blood,
guys.
blood in the water.
It's a killer
Sharks
record.
are swimming.
It's relentless. It's got some breathing room. It's melodic. It's heavy. It's intricate. It's singable. It's musicians' music. It's, if you don't play an instrument, you're gonna want to.
How about you know what? I should actually this and ask you this last time. What about live album? Is anything going on, Mike, in terms of live album or a DVD release?
We're trying to put together the Bakken footage,
You
and
told me that, like, yeah.
Cool.
yeah, now that we have a little bit of downtime, hopefully we can get that all put together and get it out on DVD.
Yeah, it's been a while since you had a live album. I don't think it's been, oh boy, it's what, like 10 years?
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's pretty much it. Todd, thanks so much, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you guys, and we'll be in touch soon. I'm gonna get that bug in management's ear and see if we can maybe put something together, because our plan is it takes a long time to write an album with this band. It's just, they're up in Seattle and we try to get together for sessions, but if we could release something early part of next year, especially then when like everything's more dialed in and it's the venues and, but we're going to try and do a couple ground tours next year. But I
You have some shows coming up, Todd, right? You guys are.
yeah, we
playing
have
some
like
shows.
20 or 22 shows left.
Wow.
We have our first show May 21st. So,
Where is it?
Eric,
Where is it? May 21st. Where is it?
It's in Idaho.
Oh,
I know. Potato Fest.
that's a
Yeah.
potato fest.
That's better than a sausage fest, right?
That's true.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys can comment how awesome you think it would be to do a Queensryche Flotsam and Jetsam tour.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
But congratulations, guys. Thanks for letting me be a part of this. And I'm one of the lucky few that have got to heard it before it's released, but that's because I do a lot of the stuff with the show now. And I'm really happy for you guys. I think the fans are in for a big treat. It's something that I've only listened to it 2.5 times, but I'm hearing new things each time. And I'm like focusing on this guitar progression or something. And then I'll focus more on like the rhythm section. And then, in the vocal delivery, I'll notice something else. So something that you keep discovering new things with as I'm playing it more times, which is fun.
That's
All right.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some good feedback here today.
Just the fact that Todd's listened to my record once is kind of exciting for me. 2.5 times is badass.
Well, I heard it 10 times, so I heard it 10
You're not
times. It
wrong,
doesn't matter.
No, I'm a fan. I'm honored to call Eric a friend of mine, and again, I haven't had a chance to communicate as much with Mike, but it's a pleasure to talk with you on here, and thanks for letting me chime in.
All right,
You
guys.
too, Todd. Thanks, man.
Okay, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
We'll talk soon, everyone. Have yourself a wonderful day, okay?
Have a great day, guys.
Jimmy, thank you.
Always. No problem.